Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Top 3 Tuesday. Tonight I'm going to talk about my top 3 favourite stories or game stories or stories told through a video game. Something like that. My thumbnail will, or the description on the video will be what I decide, what I finally decide on. So I've got here 9 honourable mentions. I was looking at my collection. I thought I could round it up to 10, isn't it? Let's get 10 honourable mentions. But no, I'm going to stick with my 9 and my top 3, okay? And I'm going to do my in order of oldest to newest based on systems that they came out on rather. I'm struggling with my health, with my mental health. I can't concentrate, so I do apologise. It's the second time I tried to film this video as well. Right, so video games, they started off with, like, when I was a kid, the story was like basically these characters are entering a tournament and you got to kill everyone else to be the victor, and then you got to look up in the manual why, like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, you know. Or another one like Mario, the story is someone steals your girlfriend, you got to go get her back. And Mario 2, someone steals your girlfriend, you got to go get her back. And Mario 3, you're like, fucking hell, whoa, this is an epic story. But then, obviously, they couldn't really tell stories due to the limitation. Like on the 16-bit era, there wasn't really any amazing stories. Probably as good as it got for me was Ghouls and Ghosts on the Master System, for example. There was a bit of a story there. The way they told it was pretty clever due to the limitations of the Master System software, you know. Anyway, I'm going to go, so like the PlayStation had obviously Final Fantasy VII. I haven't actually finished it, but the first thing anyone that's played this or grew up with it talks about is, I've heard the phrase is, this game changed my life. The best story ever told. Yeah, so this has, I've played a good couple of hours in, you know. I think I'm still on the first disc though. So far it's a very good story. I haven't played the remake, the HD remaster, whatever the fuck it's called. But yeah, so that's an honourable mention. There will be spoilers as well. I can't really spoil that because I haven't actually finished it, but it's definitely worth an honourable mention. So, spoilers alert. There might be some spoilers if you haven't played any of these games, so you have been warned. I'll do my best to talk about the story without giving away the major plot, but on some of them, the major twist is the best part of the story, so I'll do my best, but I don't think I'll be able to do it on 1 or 2 of them, you know. So, the second honourable mention is 13. I talked about this on my GameCube collection video. This is the game that inspired me to do this for this week's Top 3 Tuesday, okay? I really enjoyed the story on this. It's a good game. It's a fantastic game. Visually, it's like the arcade style. Like comic book arcade. Sorry, the comic book. Told you my head's... I don't know if I'm taking my medication today. So sorry, this is going to be an interesting video then. I'll try to keep going with this. Yeah, so it's like CIA, secret agent, and a guy loses his memory at the start, and it's about him piecing together, similar, in a roundabout way, similar to the Bourne Identity series where he's lost his memory and he was like a undercover agent or whatever. Similar to that, but it's got like the assassination of the president vibe going on. Yeah, very good story on that. And there's a nice couple of bits. The story comes together at the end. It's really good, interesting story. Keeps you hooked. Another game on the GameCube with a good story is Skies of Arcadia. I didn't want to just pick RPGs, okay? Because RPGs, one of the best things about an RPG is the story. That's why you want to progress. So I really like the characters in this, the team building. You meet different characters. Then there's a couple of twists where you find this woman, and it's funny because she looks so different. She's like a spy or something, but she's one of the the big generals of the baddies. But then you meet her, and she looks so different. She's hardly wearing any clothes. And you're like, oh, hello, who's this? And so you help her, and then it turns out to be a bit of a trap. Yes, that's a really good story. That stayed with me, you know. Fable, I got the anniversary collection here, but obviously I've got the Xbox version as well. This is like a revenge story. So you start off as a little kid. It's not groundbreaking, but the way they do it's really good. You really want to get revenge for what happened to your family. So something bad happens to your family, like really bad happens to your family at the beginning without too much spoilers, if you can't figure it out from that. And then it's a long story. So it like a guy takes you into this guild, and so he helps you and he trains you up, and then it like fast forwards so many years. So he's like a teenager or he's a young adult, let's say, and then you level up. It's all about going on these missions, but the main story plot really is getting revenge for what happened to your family and your village where you grew up. So yeah, very good story on that. But I did try to replay this a couple of months ago. This actual version, not the Xbox, the original Xbox version. And I struggled. Some of the controls, they haven't aged. Some games are best left in your memory, you know. I will go back to it. But my backlog's a bit on the big side. And there's a couple of things you think, I'm glad they don't do things like this in video games now. But for its time, it was a very good... I loved it. It was one of my favourite games back in the day on the Xbox. Another good story, Battlefield Bad Company 2. I'll keep the price on that for a reason, okay? I only paid 50p because this is one of the... This got me back into... GameCube was the only console I was collecting for. But then when I realised how cheap the PlayStation 3 games were, saw that for 50p. Then I went straight and bought the PS3 because... Anyway, get back to... Battlefield Bad Company 2. It's a very good story. So it starts off, I believe it's World War II, where this like really powerful nuclear bomb goes missing. And then it fast forwards, because it's done at such a high quality, you just think, it's another World War II shooter, but okay, because the characters and stuff are pretty good. It's really good fun gameplay. It's one of the best opening scenes, combat scenes, I've got in my memory that I've played, you know. So, and it fast forwards then, so it's like, right, so many years later, it's the 4 people, the bad company. They're like a squad and they're really good. And your character's like a new guy. So it's about like proving yourself. Then they start taking a liking to you. The banter, the character development, everything is really, really good in this. And it's centers around them, but they're telling this really big story. But they're like misfits almost, but they're very good soldiers. And they really, really are an important mission. And it just the end scene is like, oh my god, I can't wait for the sequel to this. And we're still waiting. But yeah, this game holds up, really does hold up. It's a fantastic game, really good gameplay. But the story, I don't think I'd enjoy it quite as much if it wasn't for the story. Okay. Another good, amazing story. Okay, one of my favourite games of all time, GTA 5 or Grand Theft Auto 5. This is the only Grand Theft Auto game I stuck with, you know. I've owned this about 4 or 5 times over the years. I've rage quit and thrown the disc. I've told that story when I was living up in Newcastle. I've traded it in when I got out the gaming. I got back into gaming, got out the gaming, got back. But this is always a game I get in my collection. What's cool about this is it is an overall big story being told. But there's obviously most people have played it. So you're playing as 3 different characters. There's not like a main character. You think at the start it's going to be like all the other GTAs around one character. But it tells a story and it's like these 3 people, how they come together. Very good story. Really good gameplay in it as well. But it'd be hard to make a film of this. Everyone's they should make a movie of GTA 5. It's really hard. I don't think they could do it because it'd be more. Maybe they could do like a a series, like an 8-part series, like an hour episode, 1 hour episodes, if that makes sense. Sorry, my head is not right tonight, but I'll keep going. I'll do my best, okay? I do enjoy my YouTube journey, so this is helping me talk to people. Yeah, so very good story. Most people have played it, it's I think it's still in the top 10 selling games of the year, and it's been out for 9 years. But yeah, what a game. It wouldn't be as good as it was, as successful, if it wasn't for the characters and the story. Okay, Call of Duty always have a good story. Like, you got Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 1. You get to like them in Call of Duty 3 in the World War II games. But my favourite, I gotta be honest, my favourite Call of Duty story is Call of Duty Ghosts. So spoiler, you play as like a couple of different characters, but the story's around the main story. 2 brothers, and I've got a brother, so it's like we're not in the military, but it's like their father's in the military as well. And I think your father's died or he goes missing or something, and you're doing these missions. It's a world war, okay? The world satellites are destroying, like lasers are destroying, like California, for example, right? It's all up, like, yeah, so it's all destroyed, okay? And so it's around about these brothers, but it turns out, spoiler, your father's one of the main guys of the Ghosts. So the Ghosts are like these legendary, not mercenaries, like the badass squad, and it turns out your father's one of the main guys there, so it's a bit of a happy reunion. But then it's like, again, you want revenge for what happens, and it's a really good ending, and like that end bit on the beach, you're really rooting, do you know what I mean, for your guys, get up, you can do it, kind of. Oh, I was anyway. I was really invested in that, the story of Call of Duty Ghosts. Totally different change of pace now. Sakura Wars. I really, really enjoyed the story of this. It's a much slower pace. It's basically the main character that you play as, plays him mostly. He's like a military commander, and he gets sent to... Something's happened. He's not disgraced, but he's almost demoted, but his orders are to sort out this company, these mech companies. I can't explain it. I'm struggling. It's like... I am shit at explaining things when I have had my medication. So he's sent to like a failing... The mission's failing, so basically he's there to turn it around and improve it and stuff like that, okay? But then they protect the village or the city that they're in with these mech suits. That's what attracted me to it, okay? But it doesn't look like that kind of game, does it? It is a kind of dating sim as well. He's got like romantic interests. I think you can choose. They're all females as well in there, okay? And to raise money for the company, they've got to... It's a bit weird, right? It never happened, but they're based in like a theatre, and they're all like... to fund the mechs, the weapons that they've got, the weaponry they've got to put on these like performances, and at the start they're terrible. They don't really know to act. They're trying their hardest, but you're a military commander. You're not trained. You don't know how to improve them. But without better shows, you need to put on better shows to have better audiences, which equals better money, which so they can upgrade their mechs and stuff like that and protect the city more. And then like different characters appear. Like they got this world famous actress suddenly takes an interest. I won't spoil it, but she's got an ulterior motive. I had a vibe on it from this as soon as she showed up, Like, why would a world famous, like A-lister want to go to this shitty part of the world and join their company, But yeah, it's like, and then there's like a the games or something it's called, where you're like the laughing stock. You're only allowed to enter because it's your city's turn to host the games, and everyone's laughing and stuff like that. But it's like this guy, it starts to click, things start to fall into place. It's a bit of a shit show the first couple of episodes, and but he does turn it around. It's very satisfying. And the other thing I really enjoyed, and I'd like other game companies to do it, it's done in episodes. So like the end of episode 1, it'll show trailer as if it's like next time on episode 2, and it'll show like a cutscenes or like a preview of what's going to happen. So it's like, oh wow, this is going to be really interesting. And then it's like, whoa, why is she not speaking to her? Or why is this one trying to kill her? It's done in a very good way. It's not for everyone, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. This had me hooked when I was playing this, okay? So I recommend it. Anything Sega, I recommend. But be warned, it's not for everyone, okay? I do apologise. I'm really struggling to explain myself at the moment. But I'm going to keep going. Please do click that subscribe button. Okay, I did briefly say about Mortal Kombat, okay? I got Mortal Kombat 11. X had a very good story. My favourite thing about this game's story is a 10 out of 10. The gameplay is probably a 7 out of 10, in my opinion. I play a lot of fighting games, okay? But I was putting the controller down, watching the cutscenes. If you've watched Around the World with 80 Fighting Games, I skip most cutscenes. I don't think I skipped the cutscene or I played one of the King of Fighters games today. It was a really good story. We're not talking about that, though. We're talking about this bad boy. Yeah, the story of this, I put the controller down, and it was like, wow, Liu Kang. Right? And you're really attached to it, and then you think, oh, it tells Scorpion's a little bit of a story. And then, oh, wow, great. Then it goes on to Jackie Briggs' story. It's really, really good story on that. I don't know. There might be a way you can just, maybe once you've finished the game, just watch all the cutscenes. They're quite long cutscenes, but normally in a game, I used to have the attitude, like Metal Gear Solid. Never really got into them because there's too much cutscenes. This is the other way around. I wish there was more cutscenes. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed 10 out of 10. Easily a 10 out of 10 with the story of that. It is out there because, hey, it's a Mortal Kombat game, but the story of this is much better. Even better than the Mortal Kombat, what they call Mortal Kombat Legends. They're excellent animes, okay? But this story of this blows them all out of the water. It's really funny as well, some of the scenes in it. Okay, that's my last of my honourable mentions. Down to my top 3 then. So, coming in at number 3 is The Last of Us. And this is sealed, as you can see, but the disc is loose. I ordered this on Amazon. So, I hope that's okay. The reason I haven't opened it is because it's on Game Pass. So, if I want to play it, I'll play it that way. But, yeah, I still got it sealed in the collection, What a story. I know people didn't like what happened to Joel in the second one. But someone had to go. To make it, it's a brutal world. So they set up, so the opening scene is Joel is a single father. He's got a teenage daughter. And I think it's his birthday. And you start off playing his daughter. It's very slow pace at the start. I was like, oh, I don't know about this. So you go downstairs, you go around the house. The detail is amazing, but it's like very slow, as if you're walking. But in video games, you're still running around everywhere. So then next thing, your father Joel comes barging in, and all hell's breaking loose. So there's like a zombie outbreak or the infected outbreak. So your father and your uncle are in this you're in the back of the car and you're seeing explosions going off, very cinematic. You're like, oh hello, this is more my kind of pace. Again, spoilers, if you haven't played this game, skip forward a bit. Subscribe, then skip forward a little bit, I'd say, for like 2 or 3 minutes. Your daughter, I believe, has been bitten. So this army guy is there and he's pointing a gun. And he's got orders coming through on his headpiece, on his headset. And your daughter doesn't survive. And then it fast forwards then so many years, and it's just a post-apocalyptic. I can't say it, but I'm not a tablets. Give me a break, yeah. Yes, it's like it's a beautiful world because like all the cities, it's all the population's been wiped out basically by this infection, and the nature's taking that's my favorite part of it. Nature's reclaiming the earth. Okay. Like one of the most memorable scenes is when you see those giraffes towards the end. It's epic. I called my mother when I played that. I was living at home. I called my mother to the bedroom. Mom, come look at this, because she loves giraffes. Anything to do with giraffes, she loves it. She was like, "Oh wow, look at this. It's a film, is it?" And I was like, "No, it's a game." That was back on the PS3 version, but I think my mother still thinks like Sonic 1 on the Master System is as good as games look. So she was like, "Wow, look at this." And I was like, "Yeah, you can go away now, man." I think she wanted to watch the whole fucking game. Yeah, so, but the thing is, what was clever about it, what I thought, was because your daughter dies right at the beginning, you don't know who's safe. And then, obviously, you meet Ellie, who's similar age. I think she's meant to remind you as the gamer, game player, it's like his daughter, maybe she's going to die. And it's a very good story that she has been bitten and she's immune. So that's why she's so valuable. And you've got to, as Joel and his girlfriend, I can't remember her name, you're supposed to transport her from this camp to the other camp, okay? Which he does succeed with his mission. But there's a couple of close calls. I honestly thought one of them's going to die. I definitely thought she was going to die at the end. And you can argue, there's an argument out there that she should have. The happy ending was they could have found out why she's immune and cured everybody. But Joel gets so attached to her. It's really good as well. He doesn't like her at the start. He's like, he goes out of his way to not get too attached to her. Because you got to, I get it. If I had a daughter and something happened to her, I wouldn't want to go through that pain again. But then he really, at the last scene, and when he turns into a badass. You get it. Do you know what I mean? And it's what I would have wanted from his point of view. But the bigger picture, he actually did the wrong thing, didn't he? Really. And then he lies to her at the end, doesn't he? He's like, I think you can choose to tell her the truth or to lie. I think I lied. I said, no, it was fine. There was nothing they could do or whatever, you know. But yeah, that was my number 3. Thank you anyone that's still watching. I really appreciate it. If you understood any of that, well done. Thank you very much. Now, my number 2 is the newest game, okay? It's Ghost of Tsushima. Out fucking standing. I love anything Samurai World, anything Japanese, and the island Tsushima, whatever you want to fucking call it. I know I do pronounce things strange on my channel. This is groundbreaking, and it's perfect on the PlayStation 5 with the update to the controls. Maybe visually it might look better, but it was perfect on the PlayStation 4 in my opinion. But the character development you go through, where it's mad to think about it. He's got honor because he's a samurai. He's the way he's been brought up. He doesn't know any different. And he just walks up to the settlement that's got his uncle captured. And he's like, I challenge you all to a duel kind of attitude. And he wonders why he gets his ass kicked. It's amazing he didn't die, you know. They chuck him off that bridge, don't they? But then it's like, he's learning. That woman, Yuna, is it? That he goes to, like, he's like learning, oh, this is against the code. But he goes, but it's successful. I've got to change my beliefs. If I want to beat the Mongols, because like that first Mongol just fucking throws petrol or whatever on that guy because he's got no honor and just sets him on fire. And it's like the guy just doesn't expect that because he's got his laws or his the codes, the samurai code or whatever the fuck it is. But then you think this is amazing. Then it's like, all right, the game's coming to an end now because you break your ankle out. I have warned you about spoilers. But then, of course, he is still set in the samurai because he's the main samurai. He's taught him everything he knows. He's like, I don't like what you're doing. It really goes against everything we believe in and stuff like that. But he's like, yeah, but I'm the ghost. Fear is the way. It's like, fuck on. You 100%, you agree with him. It's so frustrating that his uncle can't see it, but then you agree because he can't see it because he hasn't seen it. He's just been locked up in a fucking prison for however many months or weeks it's been, you know. But yeah, what a brilliant game. That's when I'd like to see made into a series or something like that. But I finished it twice, and both times I just didn't want to finish. I didn't want to stop playing it. I'd done everything I had to. I found every single... Another thing's the shrines, is it the foxes lead you to? I found every single one of them. I was probably put an extra 4 hours. All the main story been done. All the side quests, everything was done. I just liked being there, you know. I have said it before. I think I was a samurai in a past life, you know. Yeah, anyway, so that was number 2. Go play that game if you haven't played it. Okay, now, shout out Ricky from work. I would have put that as number 1 because I completely forgot about this. But I had this idea a couple of days ago, and in work I was asking some of the boys, what's your favourite story game? I completely forgot about this, but it's definitely in my number 1. Those two, The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, brilliant stories. This is a masterpiece. Knights of the Old Republic. I'm really happy they're remaking it so more people can experience this epic story. Some people are put off by the graphics. Oh, I don't like the look of it. Or put off by the controls. So they will want to be able to experience this story. So I'd imagine, I always call it the Final Fantasy VII treatment. When they remake this, they're probably going to update the controls maybe to like real-time combat. So the combat took a while to get used to. This is actually the first RPG I ever played. But the story is amazing. So, spoilers. You wake up you're like having a nightmare, tossing and turning in a bed, which turns out to be on a spaceship, which turns out to be in like a battle, like a typical Star Wars spaceship battle. I think this is set like 1,000 years before episode 1. So like there's swords in it and some lightsabers, but sort of like other like early versions of lightsabers and stuff. It's really well thought out. So you're having these nightmares, and then you wake up and there's you meet some characters, and then Bastila, I think that's her name. It's amazing how I still remember. I haven't played this game for about 10 plus years, maybe 15 years, but it stayed with me. Definitely stayed, and it will forever. It's such a good story. And then you crash land. You go in like an escape pod. You crash land onto this planet, like a city planet. I don't think it's Coruscant, but it looks very similar to Coruscant. And like you've got nothing, so you need to, for example, to get into this bar. You can't get in the bar because you either need a pass or a Sith uniform, or like a stormtrooper. Well, they're not early versions of stormtrooper uniform or something. So you've got a couple of options how to get in there. You have to really work for everything. You have to listen to the stories and stuff like that. And in between each stage, you get off that planet. That takes ages. The first planet, you're on there the longest, right? So you go below the ground, the slums or whatever, and you're helping these people out, blah, 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 blah. And then you get off that planet. So then there's like a cutscene. He's having another nightmare. And he's dreaming of basically your mission, or Bastila's mission. So you're used to you're just basically trying to help her, okay? But she goes, oh, you've got some force in you. She can detect it, but obviously you're a fully grown man. So she's like, she's training you up as you go, and you're learning these skills, but they come to you easily. And yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier on. I'm really sorry, guys. No, I'm not going to delete this. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to take my medication as soon as I finished. What was I going to say? Yes, you have these nightmares of Raven, and I can't remember what that guy's name is. So you're tracking them down, but then it's very like, there's quite a lot of deja vu. Your dream, then you start seeing the places and stuff like that. And as it turns out, right, so this is the big spoiler, it's like a drop the controller moment. All game you're chasing these people, so you finally greet him, and it turns out you're Raven. So you're his partner, his apprentice, and something happens, and Bastila, her main strength as a Jedi, her Jedi strength is mind tricks. So they captured you or something, and kind of set up the beginning of the story to try to get to him, because he's like the Darth Vader or the Emperor of 1,000 years ago kind of thing. I don't know if I'm explaining it very right, but when you realise that it's like, I had never experienced a story like this before or since, okay? It's up there with with The Shawshank Redemption. I fucking love that film. But this is up there with the story is excellent. It's a 40-plus hour story, and it's about the last couple of hours. And you can choose to be good, like every action. You got like a bar beside your character, so you do good deeds. You go light side, it slowly creeps up, and by the end of the game, you're either right at the top, like a super goody, or you can do it the other way. You can be a bit of a dick, but like, for example, there's different ways. You know that bar you got at that cantina, you got to get in right at the beginning. You can get in quite easy if you want to go the Sith route. You can just kill the guy and take his uniform, or kill the guy and take his pass. But the first time I played it, I was a Jedi. Yeah, I want to do it the good. And it's the only game I've ever done. I put 40 odd hours first run through. I thought, I can't wait to finish this game, and I'm going to go back to the beginning. That's exactly what I did. I went back to the beginning, and I was a dick, and I had a ton of fun. So it's a bit worrying how natural being a Sith Lord came to me. But then some of the characters that you meet along the way, like your squad builds up, and you get to leave some of them on the ship or at the apartment, so you can only have 2 or 3 with you at a time. So some of them that you meet are really good, like Bastila's obviously good, but then some of them are evil. So it's very interesting. So one of the last couple of hours, it all kind of clicks into place. So it's quite tough. The hardest thing about being the Sith was the good Jedis and the good people say, I don't agree, I don't like what's happening to you, and basically you have to fight them off. Or if you play it good, the evil characters don't like what you're doing. They're like trying to corrupt you all the way through and chip away kind of thing. It's a brilliant story. Like I had 9.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It's easily a 10 out of 10. I'm chuffed to bits, like I said earlier on, that it's going to have that the remake, remaster treatment, so more people will experience just how good a story this game is. I don't think this would work in a film, because you've got to put the 35 plus hours in, believe in one thing. I didn't see it coming. I'm pretty good at guessing plots. Like Sixth Sense, I got it straight away. I said his wife isn't speaking to him because he's dead. He said, the other kid says, I see dead people. I got it straight away. I knew there was a twist and I was looking for it. Signs, I got that as well. This, I did not see that coming. Nobody would have seen that coming. It's because it's done so well, okay? So definitely check that out. That's by far my number one video game story, I think we'll call it. Yeah, so thank you very much. I know I've been all over the place. I'm going to take some tablets now, I think. Yeah, thank you very, very much for watching. Please Hadouken that subscribe button. Yeah, we cut it off there. Love you. Bye.